Is it just me, or are things getting really crazy at the moment? And I mean really, really weird. Some of the videos and images and documents that I'm seeing now on a daily basis are just getting crazier and crazier. And whilst we all know that, yeah, some of it is AI created nonsense, and for sure some of it is fake news implanted within the social networks and communities and archives to confuse us. A lot of what I'm seeing, and probably what you're seeing now, is mass sightings. There are multiple people in all these different locations around the world seeing the craziest stuff. I mean, really crazy things, craft of all different shapes and sizes, and things in the skies, orbs and plasmoids of different colors, all doing different things, morphing objects. Um, the different types of stories that are just being discussed on social media and across all the different communities are just insane. And today on this video, we have some really quite incredible footage and videos from a new Apollo. Again, I don't know if this is NASA released, or this is released through a whistleblower, or just simply leaked, but new footage from the Apollo 11 lunar space modules, which is just incredible. We've got footage of a supposed Space Force craft, or jet, I suppose, chasing a UFO in the USA. This We've got footage of the drones over New Jersey. In fact, this is insane footage of a drone over New Jersey firing lasers into space. We have a beautiful UAP recording in Cornwall in the UK, which is not too far from where I am. And we have a craft seeming to communicate with a group of people that were firing lasers at it. And this is just a small selection, just less than 1% of what I've seen in terms of incredible footage coming out over the last week. It's really quite incredible. Also, is it just me? And I don't want to sound like a complete conspiracy theory crazy nutcase here, but is it is our reality seemingly seeming to shift? The world that we live in is so strange. I mean, we live in such a crazy time. I mean, if you compare to our lives to just, well, when I was growing up, the 1980s, just now is so different. It's so crazy. Think of just 100 years ago, how different life was, and the understanding of the cosmos and everything, and technology and the changes that we've experienced 200 years ago, 300 years ago. We live in a really crazy time, and it just feels like the reality is changing, that we as a global civilization, as a species, are changing. The reality is changing. We're becoming more conscious as a civilization, and understanding what consciousness is and what it is to be conscious, and what the power of meditation and the power of the mind and the spirits, our spiritual energies within. And we're understanding better the vastness of the cosmos, an infinite, ever expanding cosmos, and the likelihood that across that infinite, ever expanding cosmos, there are very, very likely infinite amounts of civilizations and life forms. It's infinite, and therefore life forms and life is infinite. And we're starting to understand that now. As a species, we're becoming less trusting of the media, less trusting of what we've been taught by the media, which has been, agenda driven for the most of our lives, and even what we've been taught in schools. And, a lot of it has been agenda driven. Um, Realizing the potential of AI and virtual reality. I mean, how far away are we as a species, as a from a technology perspective? How far away are we from being in a virtual reality world where we cannot tell the difference between that virtual reality world and the reality that we are supposedly in? 20 years before you put on a helmet and lie down in a machine, and there's you know, you can trick your mind into being somewhere else completely, touch, taste, breathing, sleeping in a virtual reality environment. You know, that's probably not that far away. And technology just in general is just becoming insane. It seems every day some crazy advancement in technology is occurring. Imagine where we'll be in 50 years time. Imagine where we'll be in 1,000 years time if we don't kill each other with nuclear weapons. But I think all of these things play into the fact that disclosure is coming. And I think all of these progressions of us as as a global civilization rather, are why disclosure is coming and coming quick, because I just don't think media and governments can hide it anymore. I think people are just becoming too aware that they just can't hide it. Technology is becoming so good that everybody, almost everybody around the world, can just point these high definition 4K cameras at the sky and just capture whatever they want. I mean, some of the zoom capabilities of some of the phones, you can zoom in on the moon and see details, you know, and they just can't hide it. All people have to do is look up with their phones for long enough, especially if you've got infrared. Just look up, you'll catch something. Like you will see something. You'll see something shoot across the sky, stop, change direction, or some weird energy or plasmoid or orb doing something really crazy. And I think all of those things I just mentioned, without again sounding like a complete lunatic, but I do think all of these things are playing into why disclosure is coming and why it is coming fast. And just this first piece of footage, which we're about to look at, I mean, it's from 1969. It's the Apollo 11 mission. According to various sources, this has only just been released, and it's just unbelievable. I mean, even the astronauts in the background are like, "Wow, what is this crazy thing that we're looking at?" Take a look at this.
8-5. Okay, Charlie, we're in the limb. The docking index mark is the same. Roger, we copy. Houston, Apollo 11. Apollo 11 Eagle. 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Houston out, over. Hello, Eagle, Houston, we're standing by, over. Eagle, Houston, we. Hello, Eagle, Houston, we're standing by, over. Listen,
So if that Apollo 11 footage is real, it's showing an orb flying um, from or coming into view from outer space, coming right up to the lunar module, which is being recorded from the orbiting module, I believe. And this orb is actually coming around the back of the lunar module and in between the actual main um, orbiting craft and the lunar module. And actually, there's another piece of footage. That's not the piece of footage where the astronauts are shouting, you know, what is that? Where there's actually another piece where they're on the lunar surface, and that orb turns up, and that's when the astronauts shout, "What is that?" You know, and they're both looking at it and both shouting, "What is that?" to each other. But if that is real, and again, it's from 1969, so it looks pretty real, and there are some credible sources online discussing this particular piece of footage. But if it's real, it is an incredible piece of footage. You know, again, you know, hidden in the archives, classified for many decades, and then leaks. And you know, this is information that should have been released to the public decades ago. but it's all been hidden because of agenda-driven governments and media. So yeah, fascinating piece of footage if it is indeed real. This is the next piece of footage that we're going to look at. So what we have here supposedly is a UFO being chased by a jet, and according, they've referred, or the person that recorded this has referred to that jet as being part of the Space Force. We don't know if it's part of the Space Force. There's no proof or evidence for that. But it certainly does seem to show a UFO being chased by a jet. That UFO flies out to sea and is witnessed by multiple people. Take a look at this.
See, I told you. That's straight up, you guys. I told you. See, I'm not losing my mind. Holy moly!
So first thing, that's definitely not a jet. It's a helicopter. You can hear that straight away. Again, where they've got Space Force from, I don't know, because where's the evidence in that Space Force? But what is clear is that there's a helicopter chasing an orb, and the orb goes out to the sea. It goes out to the ocean. This type of capture, certainly a craft, an orb being recorded and then whizzing off out to sea, is quite common. There's thousands of these being recorded every day. Being chased by what is probably a military helicopter, you don't see that captured as often.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Look, that's an actual helicopter. I can see it. Look, there's two. Oh. They're chasing them. The U.S. government.
The helicopters seem to be going really slow. Like if you actually look at them in the background, I mean that helicopter's just slowly hovering over. That's not going at any particular speed. And from the thousands of videos that you've probably all seen, these orbs and craft can travel from 0 to tens of thousands of miles an hour in an instant. So yeah, for a helicopter to be slowly chasing one of these craft, I'm not so sure. I mean, it's a really cool piece of footage. It does look genuine, but I'm just wondering whether.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
See.
Oh my gosh!
Look, that's an actual helicopter. I can see it. Look, there's two. Oh. They're chasing them. The U.S. government.
So the guy in the background says he can see two helicopters and he's chasing that, and I think he says orb, and then he says U.S. government, and it cuts off. So yeah, there's definitely something being chased there, but I'm not too sure. Are they chasing a drone, perhaps? It's hard to believe. Based on the videos that I've seen, it would be hard for helicopters traveling that slow to keep up with these orbs or plasmoids or craft, unless that orb is going slowly at that point and then whizzes off to sea. But this is what I was getting at. People just pointing their cameras up. They hear a noise, they hear a helicopter, point up and just film, because the chances are you'll capture something. At nighttime in particular with infrared, if you just point upwards and just look, go into your gardens at nighttime on a clear night, where there's no overcast at all, no clouds, just a clear night, and just look up and just be patient, and you'll see something. Obviously, if you're in a city center, it's going to be difficult because of the light pollution. But if you're out in rural locations, if you just look up, or you have access to an infrared camera and you look up, you just see the craziest stuff, and it's properly wild. Like, you just see it. There's no hiding it. You'll see it. I'm not 100% sure of that one. I do believe they are chasing something, but whether it's a UFO or not is hard to see. And it's definitely not Space Force. I don't know where they've got that from. But yeah, pretty cool piece of footage nonetheless. What we're going to look at next is, so everyone's aware of these drones in New Jersey. They've been going on for a long time. When Trump came into administration, he promised the world that he would tell us on day one what these drones were. And it wasn't on day one, but soon after his inauguration, he said they're drones. Okay. Well, it didn't really help, did it? But take a look at this video, because what this drone is doing is insane. And I don't think anybody on the planet has ever seen a drone do this. So what we have there is a drone seemingly looking to fire incredibly powerful lasers into space. And I don't know if it's firing lasers down. It also looks like to the right of the drone, light is also being emitted. And I'm not sure if it's a lens flare, but if you just look, there's also like a second circle appears just to the right of the drone as well, which might just be some sort of reflection. I'm not sure what it is, but I've never seen a drone do that, if that is indeed a drone. It could be a UFO signaling for all we know. But a very, another very strange piece of footage over New Jersey. And these drones have not stopped. In fact, there's a lot of footage out there now of drones appearing in different parts of the world. There's lots of footage coming out of Australia, mass sightings of drones swarming over parts of Australia now as well, which I'm sure we'll do a video on. I've never seen a drone do that. I've never seen a drone with the capability to fire powerful lasers out like that. So a very cool piece of footage there captured in New Jersey. This next UFO sighting is in Cornwall in the UK. I'm in the UK at the moment. I'm about 2 hours away from where this recording was. Now, this recording was back in late 2024, so it's about two months old, 2 and a bit months old. This is just stunning. This is a stunning recording of a UFO orb, and I could just watch something like this for hours, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of footage. Let's have a look at it. Look at the reflections on the water. It's going away now behind the hills. So there's no reflection on the water because the hills are covering it. Now it comes back towards the water and the reflections start appearing again. You know, what an incredible thing to witness if that is indeed real. Very hard. I mean, if you are to fake that with those reflections on the water, if we just go back and look at the level of reflection on the water, see here, you know, it's closer to the water, and just watch the reflections on the water as it flies away. So it's just come close, and you saw the bright light and the reflection on the water. Incredible attention to detail if that's fake. Wow. In fact, you can sort of see an outline of the craft between the lights as well. The music really helps, but I just find that so majestic. Can you just imagine capturing something like that, you know, a genuine anomaly in the sky, a genuine UAP just majestically floating across the sky like that over the river. That, I think that's real. I think the person that's recorded that has captured something real. I'm not saying it's an alien, but they've captured something real. Very, very hard to fake that. It's definitely not AI generated. I do put all these videos through these AI testing systems to see if they're AI generated. It's not 100% accurate, but that's not AI generated. Um, that's a fantastic piece of footage caught in the UK in December 2024. Again, not too far from where I am, actually. So it's probably worth me taking a visit down there with some infrared equipment and seeing what we can capture. But again, quite a common thing to see. You know, if you look up these craft, some call them interdimensional, that just seem to be floating in and out of dimensions, and then they just disappear. Sometimes you get a couple of seconds of footage. If you're lucky, you might get 3 or 4 minutes of footage, and then they just disappear. You know, they either shoot off or they just disappear. So yeah, very nice piece of footage that. So this last piece of footage is again, I think, brilliant, and something that I personally would like to try and do myself. And I know a lot of people are doing this and getting reactions back from whatever these orbs and UAPs and UFOs are in the sky. So a group of people have gone out, I think, looking for UFOs and spotted something and fired lasers off at this UFO. And the UFO has, it does look like the UFO is then communicating back through flashing. It changes direction. There's no way any drone or vehicle with a person inside it can do these kind of maneuvers. The drone technology is nowhere near capable of doing it. And if there was a person inside, they would just literally be destroyed because of the G forces required. So these people have captured something. They've shone or fired rather lasers at it, and it does look like this UFO is communicating back. Now I know Stephen Greer gets a lot of, well, some people think that he's amazing and his footage is amazing. I think some of the beings that he's captured look fantastic. We don't know for sure. Only he knows for sure if they're 100% real. But he does do a lot of these, you know, with 30, 40, 50 people all recording at the same time. He goes out into very rural locations, you know, into the middle of like deserts and, you know, into the middle of absolutely nowhere, and will capture orbs and UFOs and UAPs and fire lasers at them. And they do what is being recorded in this video. They sort of flash back or stop dead and change direction, almost seemingly responding to that laser interaction. Have a look at this and see what you think.
Oh, here's another one right here. You see him? Flying right over our heads. Pointing it right at him. And now he's turning.
Ooh,
Yeah.
just flashed.
Yeah, you see him?
Yeah, it just flashed.
I'm lasering at him, and he's curving.
So you can see how the laser is pointing at this UFO, and the UFO does seem to respond. It flashes. I've seen that in a lot of videos, and it changes directions instantly. Very high altitude. There's no way that can be, you know, a drone or a vehicle with a person inside it. So that's another thing worth doing. If you're out in a rural location and you are going to go and look for UFOs, UAPs, and you have got infrared and everything else, take a laser with you, because if you do see something and you fire lasers at them, they seem to react. Thousands of videos like this, and that's a group of people all seeing the same thing. Really, really cool. That's it for this video. Every week we're going to bring the best UFO and UAP pieces of footage to you. Please do take a look at the description of this video. You'll see a Linktree link which has all of our socials on it. It'd be great if you could follow us on all the socials. And we are just weeks away from launching UFOconnect.com. So far, we have about 1,300 videos, images, and documents from the 1940s to present day. Much of those documents, images, and videos have never been seen. We have very detailed descriptions of exactly where these documents, images, and videos came from, the cases, the events, and everything. So do stay tuned for UFOconnect.com, which will be coming soon. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.